Welcome to the Rocket Launcher Podcast. This is episode 177. I am your host, Supreme King. Join with me as always is my co-host, and his name is...
This just brought back PTSD, bro.
What you...
It's your guy Oasis. I'm looking at the screen.
I was wondering if you was going to speak on it, because I put it first. Not for that reason, though. But
this was the hardest fight of this entire game.
Was it?
Yes.
Was it?
This was definitely the most difficult fight.
Okay.
It took us so long to figure out how to do it, and even when you have strategy, it just goes bad.
Okay, well... ladies and gentlemen, that's my co-host. This is Remnant 2. This is actually one of the DLCs for Remnant 2. I highly recommend, getting this game, playing it with one or two people all the way through with the DLC. Yes. That's what you're watching right here.
So for this fight, the thing that we're fighting, corrupted enemies are a little bit sronger. Mm-hmm. And this guy's a corrupted enemy, you can tell because he's like glitching red. All right, so you have these... I don't know, fairy sort of things in the air that'll shoot down at us. Then the dude keeps making clones of us that just throw hands and give you zero space, which is what you see me running from. And every moment you have to dodge it correctly. It's like a split-second dodge, otherwise the thing just shows up and you have to take it down throwing hands while shooting the things in the air while trying to shoot the boss who's also shooting some force field thing at you. And it's so easy to just run out of ammo for this whole section just because there's so much to shoot. And those things do not let up or give you a break. So if you're getting hit and you need to heal... forget about it, because this thing is just going to just run up on you and punch. It's horrible.
The fire tornadoes was coming in pretty handy at certain points, if I remember correctly. I was dying a lot because I was trying to get as close to him as possible and shoot, because it would burn down his health. I think even on the screen you could see the health will burn down to a certain point, and then it would seem like it was almost impossible at one point. But yeah, good game. I will say, as is pretty much known in the community, Souls likes have a really hard time at balancing compared to just simple Souls games that are from software. And even Remnant was actually one that was praised at the time for being a little bit better, but the balancing is still somewhat off. I think when it comes to some of these in-game bosses too, it probably is designed for a full 3 people co-op, because they had it specifically as third person or 3 people co-op instead of 4, right? And then 3 is such an odd number where you can tell that they probably designed some of these things for that. And when you have 3 people, it's very easy to revive that one person when there's 2 other people up. But when it's just 2 people, I was down this whole time, in this footage so far. And it's my co-op partner can't get to me that often, and it's so much going on, and there's so much action on the screen, and so many things just coming out of it. Well, he can't stop to do the revive. The revive takes a while. There's a long revive animation when you look at it. So keep that in mind if you're gonna play the game. Play it with 2 people. Go through the full thing. It is very fun when you do it. And then play the first one as well if you haven't. But yeah, that's Remnant 2. I still got a little bit of footage on Remnant 2. Okay. I think so, or I think this is your footage. Right, yeah, this is your footage, yeah. But I think I still have footage too. But yeah, it'll get thrown in there every now and then. I can tell you it's probably time for you to go ahead and just upload, a whole bunch more footage.
I got some stuff.
Okay, so yeah, maybe next time you can have that. But yeah, we can get into the show. A couple showcases before we have a slew of showcases starting tomorrow or the day after. Next week will be jam packed with a bunch of stuff, but I think we'll get through it quickly because I don't think we have to go game by game at this point. You can go for like what's the big impact and what you wrote down. Um, but I wanted to start off with one of the shows that I thought, for me personally, it wasn't too much I can get off of it. And that was the Thinky Direct 2026.
Can I
I
say
don't
something about it real quick?
I don't know where they got that name from, but go ahead. Yep.
Oh well, thinking because it was puzzles, so thinking. Uh,
It just
okay.
sounds silly.
I was so ready
Mm-hmm.
to like quickly bash this show off of the timing. When I saw 3 hours, I was about to
Uh,
go off until I realized why it's 3 hours, and I actually really like this format. It's
okay.
where it's like the hour of like actual here's some release like game play and stuff like that or games, and then the rest of it was somebody playing demos.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's fantastic if the shows do that, because then you get to see some actual gameplay.
Yeah.
But man, when I
Actually,
first saw three, I was ready to
I
like,
kind of
I don't
agree
like.
with that too. In my head when I saw the three, I thought like maybe they should have cut this in half. But I guess if you're done, you can just leave the stream. Everybody else it just continues to play for you, so it's probably okay for this format. The guy playing the demos, I guess he was also co-streaming on Twitch as well and stuff, and he was running through some of the stuff. It was a okay format. I guess he was the main person who put this thing together, and so he had pre-planned that and was trying to promote some of those demos. So that was pretty good on him. Um, for me though, I didn't really get as many things that I wrote down, but I did have some notes. The original hosts were a gentleman and a lady, Joseph and Rachel, I believe is their names. They were kind of just in there in a Zoom, I believe. And then the first game that I wrote down was called Echo Weaver, um, which has a demo. It's an action, an adventure puzzle like 2D game.
Yep.
I wrote that down. It sounds like you may have wrote that down too.
Yeah, that was my second and final one that I wrote
Okay, well,
down.
what's the first?
Okay, all right, because you're gonna make jokes. It was the Granny Detective Society. So in this game, it was mocking the fact of like the old women who just sit by the window and like spy on neighbors and judge everybody. So it was some
Yeah.
lady doing that, but then gets hired by some like it seems like some secret government agency to actually do detective stuff. So it's your classic kind of detective game where you're like solving puzzles, patterns, figuring things out to figure out like who's guilty, who's innocent, and things like that. But from
Yeah.
the point of view of some grandma watching out the window. And I thought that was goofy enough as a puzzle thing that I'd probably check out.
All right. Well, the only other thing I did write on here was there's a dude playing the demos on stream. That was what I wrote.
Oh, there is
Um,
one more thing I want to give them praise for.
sure.
And for the trailers, the timestamps were broken up in the search bar so you could see the title of the game as you went through in case you missed it while it was
No,
playing.
that's really good because that gives you the ability to kind of skip around if you really wanted to do that. I think a lot of people, if they're looking at this as 3 hours, they might want to do that. But for me though, it's so next week will be a lot of shows, but it's gonna be a lot of fun because I plan these ahead of time and look forward to it because I like to sit back with a lot of food and snacks and just like pick out, write stuff down, watch three shows at the same time on three different screens and everything. So I'm ready. I'm ready. Now, yes, this was about 3 hours and we only caught like one or two things. But that's kind of how these shows go. I think it's 20 plus shows overall this year. There's also a couple extra things that I'm assuming is going to just jump out of nowhere. The dames for games and stuff because I didn't see none of those on the list, but I know they show up every year.
Yeah.
But the main thing, we'll move on to the next topic. I do want to mention like next week's shows. I know June 6th, which I have to check, but I'm pretty sure that's still a regular day of the week. That one, that's the day where it's like 5 or 6 shows in one day. Almost everything else is like, oh, it's
That's a
two on.
Saturday.
That's a Saturday. Okay. So that, I guess that makes sense. Um, so yeah, you would have to basically choose whether or not you play the games on Saturday or just watch a bunch of shows. But yeah, I'm gonna watch all of this stuff little by little. Hopefully, we can knock out what's right there for next week on Sunday. We record these on Sundays for anybody who wanted to know. And then that Sunday, unfortunately, I know the bigger stuff is going to be there, like the Xbox show, the PC show, which I'm actually assuming, I'm still saying this, that the Steam machine is going to have its actual ugly price
Two
mentioned during
thousand
that show.
dollars.
So we'll record and actually miss what's live, and then we'll catch the live stuff in the aftermath of everything the next week. I think that's the best way to do it. But yeah, 6 shows on that Saturday.
Yikes!
I had to figure that out. 6 shows on that Saturday. I think it'll be done. It won't be that bad. And we'll figure it out. And then there'll be some other shows right before it, right? But just like how we got through this one, what did we spend like 5 minutes on that show? We're just rambling afterwards. So I think we'll be all right. Okay. So yes, Fable was delayed, and there's a little bit more Xbox news there. That I wanted to actually go over. So Fable is being delayed until February 2027. I personally don't have too much of an issue with it.
Me neither.
I know there was a lot of pushback over the content of Fable, because you have a lot of people who is just like, oh, this girl's an ugly girl, whoever that girl is in the video.
My issue was
Yeah.
I know that they said that there was some like old features that people liked that they took out, so they might be able to put those back in.
Yeah.
The extra time. It seemed like it was minor stuff.
I'm gonna be honest. I think it's GTA 6. Honestly, I think that's the reason.
They said it was.
They said it was? Okay.
Yeah, so their specific announcement when they said it was there's a bunch of great stuff coming out this year, like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, Halo Campaign Evolved or something like that. Another war game that I can't remember because I can't find the post, and GTA 6. So with this fantastic lineup coming out, we'll be pushing Fable back to February 2027, so it can get the attention that it deserves. That was their exact thing. I'm just trying to. I had the post up and then it disappeared.
Well, that's cool. If that's
but
the
they
case.
straight up they said it was because of GTA 6, basically.
Well, if that's the case,
I found it. It said, this year is packed with incredible games for Xbox players to enjoy. From Halo Campaign Evolved, Gears of War E-Day, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, to Control Resonant, Star Wars Galactic Racer, and Grand Theft Auto 6. In order to plan our game launches through the holidays in a way that works best for players, we're moving Fable to February 2027 so it can have the dedicated moment it deserves. We're excited to be giving players a major new look at Fable, as well as our broader lineup at Xbox Game Showcase June 7th.
It works out for me personally, because usually I'm like really geared to do Xbox content during the summer, turn Game Pass on, watch the big show, just dive all into it. But I've been so behind on gaming this year. Like, because I think we talked about it before, like, just stuff was just happening. And I kind of just got to the point where one of the games that I had picked back up was Tears of the Kingdom. I still haven't played Digimon Survive, but I wanted to try it as soon as we hit June. I don't know why. It's just I'm wired like that, like at the start of the month. So yeah, and I was gonna do that and then jump back into some of the other Souls games right afterwards. But that's kind of like where I'm at. Why just get a message saying my packages are delivered?
Hey, You gotta go grab those?
I guess. Good. I
Alright.
had a headset on.
So,
Give me a second, y'all.
yeah, you do what you gotta do. I will point out from this footage as you just saw, we won. Finally beat this thing, but I must point out that this was like the third, fourth, maybe fifth week that we went after this thing. Like it was a while. Of trying to beat this thing. I think maybe the third week of us going after it. So while we finally beat it, it looked like, oh look, it only took y'all like 3 tries or 4 tries. Like, nah, this thing took like 15 tries to take down. Like there was only like about 3 bosses in Remnant 2 that took us so long to try and beat.
Did you say like really 3-4 weeks? Was it really?
Yeah, it took us like 3 weeks to actually beat.
Because I thought Judge Clerk from Lords of the Fallen was the one that took
that
long.
Took like 6. That took about 6 weeks. That thing was horrible. That took so long. Like there was times I remember just running because I was just like, well, back to this game. Like I was just because it just took the whole time and we lost. Yeah, that took about 6 weeks for that one.
Hey, I got a T-shirt that just says King on it. It's pretty cool. I had got it from Temu for like $5 or something. Let me tell you how egregious Temu is, and then we can move forward. Like, have you ever been on that app and they just like it just be so many pop-ups going? You would think it's a scam, and then it was just like, oh, you can do this, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'll get the shirt for $4, and I did, and then that's what came in the mail.
Hey.
All right. All right. No, real quick on
Fable being pushed back, that's fine. I'm cool with it. My favorite thing about that announcement is that they gave a shout out to Control Resonant. Right? Oh, okay. Like, because I feel like that's the one that goes under the radar. But the fact that they took the time to mention it, it was like, this is coming out too, just kind of makes me happy.
Okay. I do also want to mention the lady Asha Sharma, who was the new Xbox CEO. I guess she addressed the showcase. The information had came out. So if you notice recently with all of the changes and stuff that she made, she's been making a big Xbox focus change, right? Well, this show, which I kind of think was a show that was in place before her rule, you know, kind of like took over or whatever, because they plan this show usually way ahead of time. But I guess the show is going to still show logos for Switch and PlayStation for everything that they had already had planned to come out for the systems before she got there. And I guess people was already upset, and so she actually issued a public apology on it. And her exact words was, "It was a miss and I own it," basically. And I guess take that however you will, but basically on that show, for the games that were already set up where they were going to send stuff to PlayStation, and then Nintendo, they'll still show the logos basically. And I'm assuming from this the way she's saying it was a miss and I own it, and she's kind of apologizing, that kind of tells me that going forward, starting with the next show afterwards, that they probably won't have that. But we'll just have to see. Time will tell. But that was just a whole thing. So the show is still set for next week. I do believe the second part of it, so it's supposed to still have, 40 titles basically, and then there's the direct part that's after it, that's supposed to be focusing on Gears E-Day, if I remember correctly. So we'll see that's next week. I really believe following after it is going to be the PC show, like an hour or two later. They do that every year, and that leads into what I really believe is going to be the Steam reveal that is going to get everybody talking. And the Power Ranger content is on the screen. I'll get to the Power Ranger content in just a second. I want to speak on one of the major topics. which I kind of led into it. The major topic of the Steam Deck price hike. The reason why I want to go there first is because this game was actually played on the Steam Deck. I actually recorded it from the Steam Deck. It was docked, so I can get the footage, but I played it there. So we'll lean into the Power Ranger portion later because it's really short. But what we found out. Excuse me. So what we found out is the Steam Deck randomly just came back into stock. So that was probably the good news for some people. You remember that picture of like a black guy's face where he's like happy at first and then maybe he's like kind of disappointed like almost immediately after in that second. It's a little meme like that. Basically it came back into stock and there was the price hike that was added to it. Like the first, I guess the smaller one is now in the $700 smaller one. The one with less storage, I should say, is in the $700 range right now. I don't have the exact prices. Maybe you can look it up. And I think the bigger one, I said bigger too.
Yeah, I got it. The 512 OLED is $789 from $549. And the 1 terabyte OLED went from $649 to $949.
When I first got my Steam Deck, I did pay the $650. And mine wasn't the OLED model. It was actually the original model. I did pay the $650 for it. I actually bought it after buying the Rogue Ally, which was roughly around the same amount of money. But yeah, the OLED versions were the ones that kind of like replaced them over time. And yeah, and then all of a sudden now it's back and it's more expensive. So that set the internet ablaze a little bit because now they're saying, well, the Steam machine is dead on arrival. Because if this is this price, and that's the price that we were thinking the Steam machine was going to be, then the Steam machine is obviously going to be more, which I wish I could pull the audio from when this thing was first revealed. Because if you remember, which you might not, like, it was in our direct messages, right? I was like, this thing's going to be between 1,200 to 1,400. But we're in a situation where now we're over consuming on hardware and there's not enough software. I think that's what I said initially.
Uh-huh.
But I had figured it was going to be 12 to 14 from the jump. I think that's where it's going to land. Probably even without the controller. Because remember, they kind of just drip fed you the controller first. Yep. Almost to get people to be like, oh, now that you got the controller, you got to get the machine, right?
Yep. I was the one that said probably 1,000. Because I was like, there's no way they'll go above that. The only thing is it has to be more expensive than the Steam Deck. Well, then they bumped up the Steam Deck so it could be more expensive.
The Steam Deck is kind of goofy too because this whole RAM shortage thing, and I'll get to why I think this is kind of it doesn't add up to me. But the Steam machine at 600 was already a lot in itself. I don't see how that one can be worth 900 at this point. Because it's like, that was the base machine, and now it has its popularity. But the Lenovo is a better product. I honestly do think the Rogue Ally is more powerful. And then we've got, like, you know, better iterations of these things. Because the Steam Deck is not as good as the Rogue Ally X Xbox version. That one is just a beast, but that one debuted at 1,000, and I was just like, I don't see a world where somebody would want the Steam Deck while that thing exists and is costing relatively the same. Yep. If you remember the Rogue Ally X, which was the non-Xbox version, that was just the black one. That one was 900. This thing now is technically like $30 or $40 more than that. And that thing is actually more powerful. It actually hits 1080p. It actually hits 60 frames. Where this one, it can do the 60 frames, but it's at 720.
Yep.
So like this thing still never goes past 720. Like if anybody
And
ever
let's not
remembered,
also forget all the issues you get for the Steam Deck when you're trying to play non-Steam related stuff.
yeah, it kind of came off goofy. It's like in these machines too, all of them. It don't matter if it was standard console or handheld. They're all so 4 or 5 years old now and stuff like that. It's just kind of goofy. It's just goofy to me. Um, so yeah, they restocked it, but I don't see people really jumping to buy it that way. They're probably gonna buy it used if they want it. Or I honestly just feel like at 900, you better off getting the all black Rogue Ally or the Xbox version of the Rogue Ally. It makes no sense to me that you would go for that.
Yep.
With that being said, it kind of does open up a can of worms because the Xbox Rogue Ally that was the white one is actually also more powerful than the Steam Deck, and it didn't get a price hike yet. But I'm assuming that is coming. It would have to. That would imagine all the Rogue Ally SKUs are going to probably see price hikes. The regular ones as well as the Xbox controller looking ones. So if you are in the market for it, I would say go for the Rogue Ally immediately, because I would imagine maybe within a month or so it's going to increase its price. Because right now they're still sitting there, and they are actually in the stores. Walmart hosts the white one. Best Buy hosts the black one. Surprisingly enough, those are the ones to get if you are still in the market for a handheld. Or if you're saying maybe quote unquote you want to settle instead of getting the Steam machine, and because you feel like that's still just as powerful. I thought the Steam machine wasn't even going to be as powerful as the Xbox Rogue Ally X. Thought it was going to be more like on par with it, if anything. So, I mean, if you really you can't wait, you don't want to deal with any more shenanigans, that's probably the machine for you, because it was already right there and you could probably get it before it goes up. Because I could imagine that's like one of the last things that needs to go up. Almost everybody else is like announced the price hike at this point. The Steam Deck having this price hike is kind of goofy. It does set the tone for the Steam machine and probably the Steam frame. I was already expecting those machines to be $1,000 machines, but honestly, I can't. I think this is more like corporate greed or corporate like they're trying to capitalize on the move. I don't believe that the RAM thing is that big of a shortage, or it's just the AI thing is that big of a, like, I don't believe it.
You know why I don't believe it? I can tell you exactly why I don't believe it. So last year I started kind of pre-looking at new PCs, right? Because I need to upgrade bad. And a lot of the PCs that I kind of looked at were around $2,000, right? And it was like the normal price you'd see. I fast forward to last week, all 5 of the ones that I kind of looked at previously, I just re-looked at, and they're all still $2,000. So the RAM didn't hit those. Like, those are still the same price. Laptops I see at certain places all still the same price. Like, it seems like it's just the gaming devices that are like, we got to go up. But like everything else that requires RAM, all has been hovering the same price that I've seen.
Yeah, pre-builds are like off on the side a little bit. You can almost get away with seeing major discounts. I seen pre-builds go down really, really quickly. My pre-builds were, I don't want to say I got them at discounts. I still spent thousands for them, but they were not affected by this type of thing. Because this a pre-built, when a pre-built is just sitting and it's something that just sits on the shelf. If you notice, all these companies that do this, they don't want to put their products on the shelf, because when they put their products on the shelf, that's when you see what they're really worth. That's when all the illusions go away. You can't, make anything up. It reminds me of, because I'm looking at Power Rangers, Lord Draken as a figure, the regular white and gold one, right? Like, I remember seeing pictures of how they had him on clearance for like $5 in Walmart, because people didn't know who he was. Not that many people was into Power Rangers anymore. And when he was on the shelf, he was really not worth anything. But when we take him off the shelf, he's the rarest Power Ranger at the time, and you can't get him. You see what I'm saying? And I think a lot of these things is like that. If we sat here and put all these handhelds on the shelf, they'll show their real price in inventory real fast. It'll be just like how even for a Nintendo game sitting on a GameStop shelf, at some point it's like, no, this thing is really just worth $15, so we can sell it for 15, but nobody's about to buy that for 70. You know what I mean? I also kind of have to go, call it a spade, but we'll move to that. We'll come back to it, the RAM thing in a second. Let me address Power Rangers real quick. Well, is there anything else you want to say about the Steam price hikes?
Nah.
Good on that? All right. Power Rangers is on the screen. I just wanted to just give an update if somebody was curious about this one specific thing. I was talking about the Flame Toys Megazords because they had announced the Thunder Zord one, the Thunder Megazord one, and you know that you can do the pre-orders. I did the pre-order. I only had to put down like $80. I didn't do the whole thing yet. The whole thing is due in October. But they also at the same time of releasing, they also released the Dragon Zord model at the same time of accepting pre-orders for the Thunder Zord. So a lot of people were getting this Dragon Zord in person, and they're all starting to make videos on it. Now, if anybody remembers, I have the bootleg of the Dino one. I didn't spend the full money for that. I got the bootleg. It honestly is still a fantastic piece. It's sitting on top of my secondary PC right now, with no issue. And I highly recommend that people just get that over the main one because it's like a fourth of the price, right? And then it's not that much different. But what I noticed was with the Dragon Zord, people were showing it off and then combining it with the original 5. And when they were doing it, they show little pieces of things that you can open up on the original Dino Megazord that I didn't even know about. And so while looking at it, I kind of, pulled the one that I have just to check if he has the same capabilities because it's a bootleg. And I just wanted to confirm for everybody that yes, he is still capable of combining with that Dragon Zord. It is still 1-to-1. So if you didn't want to wait for the bootleg Dragon Zord, I'm actually waiting for it. I don't want to spend for the full Dragon Zord. It will combine with the bootleg. The bootleg has certain points in them that does not it doesn't work with the regular combination. It's only working when you combine them with Dragon Zord. And I'm really specifically talking about the shoulder area, where the Mastodon shields are, or the Mastodon shoulder parts. When you pull them down and stuff with the Dragon Zord just to clamp on, there's actually a couple extra pieces where you would pull out and make the arms slightly longer, which I didn't even know you can do. But you would do that, and then it'll open up like one little notch, and then you'll peel back one little tab, and then he can just kind of clamp down and lock in place. And I was looking at some people's videos where the dude was basically, somebody had the bootleg and the original, and they were pretty much the same size, same everything. It's just, if anybody who has the bootleg knows, like the colors are a little bit different. Like the red is more crimson red, the blue is more dark blue, dark yellow, and that's the main colors basically. So I just wanted to say, yes, you can combine the real or the official Dragon Zord model with the bootleg Dino Megazord model. And I'm fully expecting at some point for the bootleg Dragon Zord model to be announced. Probably maybe in a year or two. I'm not really anxious on buying that. I sent you a picture. You know what's funny? like as I was getting like really like, ooh, I kind of want a Dragon Zord. I kind of just stood to the side and pulled this box out and just pulled out the regular one. And that kind of satisfied it for a second. That's why I was taking a couple pictures of them kind of standing next to each other and stuff. That was pretty much it. So if you're somebody who's impulsing bad, I've been impulsing bad lately. Be grateful for what you have. Pull out the old one and just look at it and transform it once or twice, get your fix, and you'll be okay. Because if you impulse, remember Dragon Zord is pushing $400 plus $100 in tariff shipping. So that's a lot, right? And the model that I had before was actually the Ascension Hasbro model, where both figures was actually 130-ish, which I still think is a lot in itself, but that's a lot cheaper than 400. And when I saw the bootleg Dino Megazord also being 130, that was the Flames toy version. It's like, well, I can withstand buying these things at 100 something plus, but 400 to 500 each is a lot. Like that's now you're talking real bill money. It's like,
yeah, that's a lot.
I can catch up on light bills and stuff with that. Like, what are we doing? Like, no. So yeah, I'm expecting to see a Dragon Zord maybe in a year or two. And then I'll probably get that model at 100 and something. I'm not spending 400 for that. But I did say I wanted the Thunder Zord. The Thunder Zord, we don't see that often. That was like one of my favorite ones because he was a samurai. They really tricked him out in his samurai form this time. We may not see that pretty much ever again. For some reason, the Dino Megazord is out every year. Like, oh my God, every year, twice a year. And just to remember, they still have like these other versions that are back in stock. If you wanted the little action figure Lucky Cat version, those are back in stock. And if you wanted the model version where you would put them together almost like a Gundam wing, that is back in stock where you could order that as well. So it's and then we're not even talking about the Playmates Ugly version that's about to be all over Walmarts and stuff. So this thing is out every year. Did I mention the Power Ranger figures are like $50 a piece now from Flames Toys? Like they are really milking it for like just to get the first 5. You don't get green or maybe white. You just get the first 5. That's $250. It's just kind of silly to me. There is no RAM in any of these things. None of these things got AI in them. They don't move around like Toy Story or nothing. They're just pieces of plastic, right? And somehow, somebody's gonna have to justify that. Like, how is that? If it was something like this is the first time we were seeing it since the 90s, it's like there's an argument there. Whether or not you agree with it, there's at least an argument there. But at this point, I mean, it's every year. How many times can you buy the same guy? Right? How many times can you do it? Now, I was blessed to get the Ninja Ranger ones for like 26 a piece. That's still kind of a lot when it adds up. But it's like each one is like, okay, that's a little bit more manageable. But like, man. All right. That is all I really got for Power Rangers. Did you wanted to react to that, add to that, anything?
No, it's just too expensive. Everything is too expensive. It's like, it's crazy that I was thinking about this the other day and it was like, I'm happy that I now make money now that everything's more expensive, but I hate that everything got more expensive when I started making money.
Yeah.
Like, I would be, if we had the prices of when I was extra broke and I had the money I was doing right now, do you know how lavish I would be living? Like, I do well. I do very, like, I'm fine. But I would be so extra lavish with this money. But it's like the moment I got the money to sit here and just waste it, all of a sudden everything's too expensive.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you look at the money itself. The key thing about a lot of these things, we just have to remember they are still materialistic things. The FOMO is that they're hard to get. Believe me when I say that is FOMO only. It does not hold weight. When I really look back at everything that I think I couldn't have gotten, and then look at how some of that stuff is still available right now. Even with it's kind of goofy how things are like presented to us. Like to bring it back into gaming, Super Mario 3D All Stars is a combination of the original Super Mario 64 game, the GameCube Super Mario Sunshine game, and then Super Mario Galaxy for the Wii, right? All three are easily emulated with no issue.
Oh yeah.
And then on top of that, they still reintroduced the original Mario and reintroduced Galaxy in a different form where they're all of a sudden no longer quote unquote, scarcity. There's no scarcity there to get them. And then even with Sunshine not being released in a different form, like I said, it's still emulated like easily, and you have access to those games in so many different formats, whether it was the original or on the Switch or through some form of emulation. But the same thing goes with a lot of these other things, like Megazords are just sitting on eBay because ain't nobody paying those prices, right? And not only that, they keep reintroducing it every year. But if you really wanted to, you can search and find something. It's not that it's just gone forever. It's there. It's sitting there. Just like a house or something in the neighborhood that's too expensive because of the interest rate or something. Like those things are still there. Like there is no real shortage. Like it kind of annoys me when I hear that. Like it's still there, it's still able to be purchased, and you don't have to pay the retail price for everything. Do your research and you will find things at a good rate, which is going to lead into the next thing right after our quote unquote break right here. So let's take a quick quote unquote break where we talk about Epic Games, which is our unofficial sponsor. Epic Games comes out with 1 to 2 games every week where they give them away to you completely free. You don't have to have your own credit card. Like I've said a million times before, you just need to create a profile and then you can claim all the titles on any of the devices that can play them, whether it is a handheld or if it is a Steam machine like PC or maybe a laptop. You log in, you have all those games, right? The games that were announced, one of them is called Callisto, and another one
Calico,
is
right?
Calico. Did I say that wrong? All right, Calico.
Yeah, it's cats.
Okay, and then Lone Star. This is available right now until June 4th as of this recording. These two were the mystery games from last week. Now they've been revealed and they have 2 more mystery titles that are going to be announced next week or on June 4th. I wonder if those are going to be bigger titles, those 2 specifically, just because there's so many big June showcases, and I wonder if there's one of the games that's going to be debuted and maybe one of the indie showcases might end up being free here. I wonder if they do those deals.
I don't think so. I honestly think
so?
this time they do mystery because they just don't know what they're going to give away.
Yeah, I think you said that a couple of times. Yep. That might be. That'd be interesting if they're scrambling that late.
Just because these 2 feel like, especially these last 2, just feel so extra random to be mystery. It's like surprise, run a cat cafe, or some pretty cool deck builder space shooter.
Yeah,
like it just felt too random to be like, we're gonna surprise them. Like it felt like they just didn't know what they were gonna give away.
Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully one of the 2 is at least decent. But you can't complain when it's free, right? I always say, hey, free is free. So those are the titles. Anything you got from Amazon or any
Not
sales?
yet. They'll probably announce it later this week.
Okay. I didn't really have any sales or anything that I participated in as far as the games wise. I know the week before I was speaking on a almost Black Friday type sale coming from GameStop where a bunch of stuff was $15. I don't know if that's still going on. You have to just go check their website if you want to see anything. But I know Monster Hunter Wild, I think, was one of them that was 15. That's like the only one I didn't get. But um, I do want to mention, which is probably going to lead back into my topic earlier with the RAM thing. But PlayStation Days of Play Direct sale is a thing. So I don't know if this is a yearly thing that they do, but I don't. It is because I don't pay that much attention to it before, but I know they have like their little here's a sale right before we do our show. So they're still gonna have their direct amongst all the other shows and stuff next week, but they have a sale right now that leads into that, which I think is by June 4th, if I'm not mistaken. Where you can go to PlayStation Direct and you can buy a bunch of stuff at a discounted price. I think probably most realistic thing that a lot of people can probably go take advantage of is those new two-toned PlayStation controllers that they had just recently announced, and they were around almost $90 before, have been marked to the $64 range, which is the normal range for all the regular controllers. Those are the ones that were like is black fading into blue, black fading into green, and black fading into red, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know their official titles, but those are the ones that were their special controllers at one point earlier in the year. And I think they also did the console covers the same way. But all of those things are seeing a discount on PlayStation Direct, and I think a lot of people probably could take advantage of that. That doesn't seem too bad of a deal.
Ain't that kind of trash though that you noticed that you just said they went out at 90 and now they're on sale for the normal price?
Yeah, that's because I think they're $84.99, and then plus tax and everything is going to be 90. So yeah, I actually am choosing not to get one of those because I have so many controllers for PlayStation that were like the special ones already. It would just be another one, and I already have a bunch of blue ones specifically, and red ones. So I was like, and then the green one, I'm like, well, that kind of is more of an Xbox controller color to me, and I have a bunch of green ones too. So I kind of just leaning against it. Maybe I might change my mind if I see it again during Black Friday time, but right now I'm kind of leaning against that. There was a couple other titles that were first party titles that was a little bit more cheaper there. I think I saw Returnal and a couple other ones, like some of the prequels or a bunch of games that are sequels right now, like the first versions or the first games are all on sale over there. So you can go check that out. Now, the RAM shortage thing. So, the reason why I call a spade a little bit is because if anybody pays attention, these headsets also, there are mini computers technically. That PSVR 2 also was marked down like $100. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It got RAM in it as well. Like and that thing actually came down to a price that I could recommend for anybody. The PSVR 2 is now exactly $300 within that sale. If anybody remembers, it normally retailed initially at $550. It was actually more expensive than the PS5 itself at one point when it first came out, and you still needed a PS5 to actually play the thing. And then it's not wireless. You got to actually hook the thing up to it. And then at some point it wasn't selling. It was like one of the only machines that just was not selling at all. And so they gradually brought it down. I think at one point it was at its lowest at like $350. Then it kind of hovered back at the $400 range right there, while all these other things started to come up. But now, they brought it back down to, or they brought it to a flat $300. And PlayStation will ship that thing out fast. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It has RAM in it, no different than a Steam machine, no different than or the Steam Deck. And then all the other systems, and it's like, well, how is that one machine going in the opposite direction? I don't know. And your thoughts on that? Any thoughts on that?
I don't think it has to do with RAM shortage at all. Like I said, where we talked about how the Steam, like, what was the price of the Steam machine? Mm-hmm. And my whole thing was it has to be more than the Steam Deck. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, the Steam Deck goes up before they announce the price of the Steam machine. We know the PS6, which keeps getting rumored to be, like, eventually on its way, needs to cost more than the PS5. So the PS5 gets shot up to $1,000, so the PS6 can be more than $1,000. Because if it had jumped from $500, like, or $600 to like $1,500, people are gonna go crazy. Versus $1,000 to $1,500 may cause a little less argument, right? Like, it just seems like they're just suddenly going up in price, or like how you just mentioned it with the controller, and I feel like they're doing that for a lot of things, where it's just we're gonna go up in price, so when it becomes sale time, the sale price will just be the normal price, and everybody will buy it at that price now, which is what we wanted.
Probably. I think they also knew, like, there's been an influx of Black Friday sale type things for people where they only buy during that time. So if they, make it where if they weren't seeing that many sales during the rest of the year and they make that, like, expensive, then maybe everybody else would do it at the normal price that they wanted it to do.
Think about it like this, too. Rather than having to sell a PS5 for $550, they can now sell it for $949 and bundle it with the GTA 6 when that comes out, right? Because now people will buy the bundle with the GTA 6 and they still get their $1,000 versus trying to get people to buy it for $550 and then sell GTA 6 and somehow still try to make $1,000 off of them. Now it seems like, oh, I can get the PS5 and I'm getting GTA 6 for free. Well, really, you're spending $400 for it.
Well, as far as this sale, I did take the plunge. I did buy the PSVR 2 when it happened. I actually, funny enough, I've never taken it out the box. It's just actually sitting by the door. Actually, it's still in the box. It's still in the big brown box. I never even opened it. Somebody could have actually gave me something else, and I don't even know. But I took the plunge because I thought, you know what, $300 is a good price for the VR headset. I actually am a fan of the VR headsets now, since I had the MetaQuest, and so I wanted to take a look at that one too. But I haven't. Maybe next week I'll give some impressions on it, like after we talk about the PlayStation show. But I did buy the $300 machine, and I bought the case that didn't come with it. It was like a big hard case that I bought for the MetaQuest. I bought the same type of case, but it was the PlayStation one, because that was marked down too. And so that's like the only thing I took advantage of. Everything else, like I said, went down to a normal price. That's like the only thing that I thought went down to a price that was below the normal price for the type of thing it is, even though it's technically matching the MetaQuest, because I think the MetaQuest, there's a $300 model, and I think as a machine this is supposed to be better than the MetaQuest. It's just the MetaQuest is the thing that has the games, right? So I'll get used to the thing and try it out, see if it's actually worth the $300. Did I waste my money? We'll see. So I'll report back on that next week. But yeah, that's the only thing I want to mention as far as games and or free games and the news. The last thing I'll mention, and then we'll move on. Shout out to 007 First Light. I remember saying at one point it was going to be a day one buy. The only reason why I didn't is because overall it felt more like Hitman to me than 007. But this thing is reviewing very well. Gameplay clips are everywhere. I'm seeing a lot of people really enjoying this title. I'm definitely getting this game. I don't know when, but I'm definitely getting it. I'm definitely going to play it.
Same.
Because I played 007, period. But this one is this was a third person game. I do prefer 007 in first person because almost every last one of them was. But here's a third person one, which is fine, where you get to play as what's his name? Not young
James Bond.
No, I wasn't gonna say James Bond. I was gonna say Cruise. I forgot his first
Tom
name.
Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Yeah, that dude. That's what you playing as. Every time I see it, I'm like, no, that's Tom Cruise. But what was his movie? Mission Impossible. That's basically what this is. This is Mission Impossible. They should have just called it Mission Impossible. Then he would have got a nice payday, and they would have got a lawsuit.
I think it just happens to look like Tom Cruise. I don't think the full intention was to look like Tom Cruise.
Do you remember the story? The girl, one of the main poster girls from GTA 5, I think it was Lindsay Lohan, who said they made that after her and she tried to sue Rockstar. You remember that?
Oh, I didn't hear about Lindsay Lohan. I heard about some streamer.
Oh yeah, there was a streamer dude who was talking about
Oh no, I saw a streamer girl who said that one of the characters was clearly, or no, it was GTA 6. Sorry, she said one of the characters is clearly her in GTA 6, but a lot of people actually agree.
GTA 6, it was a dude who had like a crazy amount of tattoos, who said like one of the GTA 6 characters was modeled after him because
I saw that one too. Yep.
Yeah, the original trailer had like, it was put together where it was really just like showcasing a lot of memes and stuff that were popular memes, and they kind of just like showed how they were playing it off within the game. GTA always did that. It's just GTA just got so popular that it's bigger than the memes that they played off of. Because if anybody remembered, Vice City was Scarface. Yeah. But Vice City is so big to a different audience, where Scarface is still really big to a specific audience, but the next generation is GTA Vice City. It was just a lot of stuff like that. But yeah, 007 First Light reviewing very well. A lot of clips. I will be checking that out probably later this year, or I might do the Black Friday thing next year. Who knows? But I will absolutely get this. And yeah, so that is the last that I have on this. I do want to touch bases on one machine that came out right after we go on our last topic, and then we'll be done. And I'll make this quick. Basically, you know, the company name Lenovo. We know Lenovo for the Lenovo Legion Go, and then also, you know, little things like some of their past PC stuff, right? Well, lo and behold, they actually have like a secret model of like a little Ambernick looking device that they are selling on AliExpress. And I never really thought that the main companies would try to go there, but this company went there basically, and decided to make their own version, and it actually looks very similar to the Ambernick 40XX RG40XX, I think is what it's called, which is the device that you and me have. And they have theirs in the colors of white and then black, and then a black that fades into red, similar to the PlayStation controller. This thing is called the Lenovo G02. And it's hovering around $78 before tax, and you can get it off of AliExpress. Now, what's actually interesting about it too is it does also ship out with preloaded games, and some of those games are from the devices like the Dreamcast and even the Nintendo DS. I'm like, you guys are playing it really. You're on thin ice because you're a real company with real money that everybody knows, and you're shipping out these games that you can get sued for. I can just go there. But yes, they're doing that, and it has a 4.5-inch screen. You can have a micro SD card that goes into it, and it fits up to 1 terabyte. So it's very similar to the other devices, priced around the same amount too. And it is at the resolution 1024 by 768. If anybody's familiar with that resolution for a computer, it's actually just above like 720, right? So it's a little bit more HD for those games. It has about a 3 to 6 hour battery life. And this thing is available right now for you to go and purchase if you want. So you have to just look up Lenovo G02. I won't be getting this thing. It's basically the same as the other thing that I have. A couple of them that I have. But yeah, they threw their name in a hat, and I think everybody at this point could just come out with a device that plays games in this form factor. It's playing DS, it's playing Dreamcast, N64, PlayStation 1, all the Game Boy Advances, Super Nintendo and stuff, Genesis, everything from that time frame. So at this point, it's like, go get the device that it fits your style, the color and everything. And that's the device for you. It even has the same kind of RGB lights thing under the joystick, with the speaker right next to the other side. It's just like the other device. But yeah, so Lenovo has their own version of this. About $80, and then whatever the shipping cost is going to be, just like the other devices. I'm assuming that it's going to take a month, maybe a little bit longer for this thing to get to you. Be prepared for it when it comes. You want to have your SD card ready. You want to have all of your ROMs, all of your screenshots of the artworks and stuff, which can take some time. But once you get it one time, you can put it on practically any device, right? So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Any thoughts on that at all?
I'm surprised that it's releasing with games on it. I thought their loophole was that we're just making a device, we're not telling you what to do with it. So by them putting stuff on there, I feel like that's where you start skirting around legalities
Absolutely.
in the wrong way. But yeah, I don't need it. I got my Ambernick. I'm good.
I do still like the black and red one. Does look really nice. If anybody was caring about the aesthetic, that's a really nice aesthetic. And it's still priced around the same thing as everything else. So have at it if you're into that. I think at this point too, especially if you listen to this channel, you should have some device already. I think the Ambernick device where it looked like the Game Boy Advance was the one that was like really taking off at some point. So if you were somebody who just didn't go through any of those, this might be for you. I will say the Ambernick ones though, they have more of a community that works on the software, where you could have like more fan community software that might run a little bit better. I don't think this Lenovo device is going to have the community support like that. From the website that I saw, which was AliExpress, it did mention that it was only 265 of them that was sold, which would probably make sense. I mean, it's not really, not anybody knew about this. You probably didn't know anything about this until I said it. But I do want to mention one thing that I also saw. It had one review, and it was a 1-star review, and the person said that it was shipped to them, or an empty box was shipped to them, and they wasn't allowing them to get a refund.
Ooh.
And so
AliExpress is, scary.
So proceed with caution. I usually pay that extra $5-10 more and get it from one of the American sources that usually got it from AliExpress, and then they're upcharging a little bit, but I know I'm guaranteed to get mine. So keep that in mind. Maybe I just turned everybody off, which will make sense. But
Yeah.
that's, you can go see it for yourself. I was looking at it. The dude posts pictures and everything. He was like, they gave me an empty bag, and then when you open it, it was nothing in it. So I was like, all right. So yeah, so proceed with caution. Maybe you might want to just stick with the Ambernick stuff. Another thing too, when Ambernick has a device, they come out with another device every month, but when they do fix their software little by little. So keep that in mind. What was the point of me even mentioning this? I just I turned everybody off. All right. Last but not least, we can talk about this last show and then we can get up out of here. Indie Quest 2026 RPG Showcase. I like this showcase. There was a lot of cool things here that I got. I got a lot more than the first showcase, so I saved this for last just to go over some stuff. It started off with a dude from hanging out in Japan. He was in a very beautiful scenery. The dude's name was Taylor Hoyt. And then there was a bunch of YouTubers that was also being shown, and I guess they were all showcasing different things. I did want to shout out just a couple of them that I see that I actually do follow. The most notable one that people probably know is Kevin Henson. He's got a bigger channel. So for the smaller channels, there was a girl on there named Fem Trooper, and then another girl named Lady Pelvic. Much smaller channels, but they got to be a part of this showcase, and I thought that was dope. For the showcase itself, I want to say, I think because this was the first game, Full Circle, which is a party-based RPG 2D game. One of the first games, I think it was the first game that was showcased. Yep. I wrote that down. It sounds like you probably did. Go ahead, tell me what you thought about it, and maybe the next game.
So this showcase was like perfect for me, because it's the type of games I like. I love RPGs, JRPGs, and things like that. So yeah, the first game looked pretty cool. It was like, your group classic or JRPG, PS1 style. Story-driven game. The second one, I don't know if I did it, but I wanted to point it out. It was called Infinite Alliance, where it's just an RPG where they kept taking protagonists from other RPGs, and I recognized it because they took the guy from Chained Echoes, which was like praised as one of the top RPGs. I remember the big battle was Sea of Stars or Chained Echoes, which one is the better RPG of the year? And they took the protagonist from Chained Echoes and threw him in there. And that's when I noticed it was taking different protagonists from different games. And it's just some RPG with all of them in it.
Okay, dope. I don't know if it passed the other one for me, but I did have the second game for me was Alabaster Dawn.
Okay.
This one is a action RPG. What stood out to me is they had some boss fights in it. Bigger boss type creatures. I'm big on that. This does have a demo, but I believe it's also out right now with the price of $24.99. Definitely check out the demo, check out the title. What's the next thing for you?
And Edge of Memories.
Okay.
It was just full on action RPG that just looked real cool.
Okay. Anima Song from the Abyss.
Okay.
Honestly, this was Devil May Cry with some platforming.
Yeah.
In a more cartoony way. They did say they're expecting to release this in 2027. But honestly, the best way to describe it was Devil May Cry with some platforming, quite literally. Anything else?
I had D-Beat Heroes. So it was basically like Mega Man or Power Rangers. It was like 3 characters who were going on missions, and they have like super suits that kind of look very Mega Man style with their own special attacks. And you get to pick and choose which attacks they're going to go out with and things like that. Like one had like a laser sword and one had a cannon. Like it looked pretty cool.
Okay. So the next thing I had was Infinite Nights X Ross. Another action RPG, another one that was more, or at least they were showcasing a lot of big boss fights. That was another one where that was the main reason why I had clicked on it. I do also want to mention too, because I think a lot of these were like turn based. This might have been
Yes.
the most that I've really paid attention to turn based games within a show ever. But yeah, that was one of the next ones. I got like two more, but go ahead
Oh,
with
I
another one.
have one, two, three, eight more.
Eight more. So this was your show.
Yeah, so I'll mention two of them here. Mindara, I think
Okay.
it was called. It's like an RPG, but the fights turned into a fighting game. So it's your
Okay.
RPG, classic RPG elements, old school look, but then when they got into a fight, it became a fighting game. And then also Nocturne, which was another RPG, but it looks like the action looks like Guitar Hero. So it was like rhythm action, and you have like different difficulties based off of like if you were playing Guitar Hero, but then it's just all story stuff.
Okay. Um, I had Iron Wing Valiant.
Yeah.
This one or Valiant Record of Astria, I think is the full name. This one was more of a like a mech fighting type game. The mechs can transform into like fighter jets or something as well. So it's got some transforming action to it. As a game, as far as gameplay and stuff, it looks like it's going to be very fun.
Uh
Um,
huh.
that my only gripe though, as I thought it was probably the worst voice acting period that I've heard in this whole show.
Yeah.
Um, it was pretty cheesy. It didn't really seem like it would take me out the game, like when I get to the game, but I just know as that stood out to me a little bit. It looks like it's not as graphical as like Armor Core, but it's a little bit more in line with Xenoverse, basically.
Yeah.
So somewhere in there, I think a lot of people might like this if they're into the mechs. We don't get that many mech games, but now they are a little bit more frequent this generation. And this is one of them that I look forward to. Go ahead. Anything else?
I have Tawada Brava. It was
Okay.
described as like playing a cartoon. So it looks like a story of like some group comes in and like takes over a town, and then you're trying to like break out and team up with other rebels and everything, but it was very like cartoony. So you're like a frog person. Oh, and then also My Familiar was like it looked like it was just turn based, chaotic. You're like a rebel punk mutant teaming up with other rebel punk mutants to cause chaos.
Okay. The last thing I had here was called Sakurai Fire. Um,
Sacrifier.
Sacrifier.
Yep.
Okay. But it was way more of a flashy turn-based title. Um, I like the flashy titles, but I've very rarely seen something that was more of a like turn-based and really flashy like that.
What's
So it was
cool
kind
about
of the
that one
ice.
is it's not just turn based. It's
Yeah.
mix of turn based and real time. So there's like a few things where you have to hack and slash, and then switch to turn based, and then switch back to hack and slash.
Yeah, what's cool about these titles, that was the last thing that I had, but I just wanted to mention like when these things are added to your wish list, especially on Steam, when you start getting those notifications that here's something that's like under $5 and you go back and like, oh yeah, that was that game from that one showcase. It's like that's when the icing on the cake comes in. Like I know a lot of these, like I don't want to just say wait for them all to be $5, but it just so happened that like every month there's one or two of them that does go down to that price, and I end up scooping a lot
Uh,
of them. But yeah, go ahead with the rest.
all right,
What
so
do
I
you
had three
got?
more. Card Air Eternal Aces, which is basically just fusing Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon. So it looked like it's its own card game, but you move around like the classic Pokemon game, like the different like Pokemon Emerald and like that generation.
Yeah.
But instead of like Pokemon battles, it turns into a card game like Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay.
Seed of Nostalgia, which just looked like a very old school RPG that was like shouting out the old Final Fantasy stuff. And then Gravistar was the last one. Again, looked like an old school RPG, but it was space themed, so it looked like you're like flying through space, landing on other planets, and then doing your RPG stuff. So yeah, this is definitely a show for me. Like it's just the old school, or not even just old school, some even the newer looking ones, but just RPGs, JRPGs, turn based, story driven. It's like my type of game. So this is a cool show.
This was a show that would really complement a handheld. Just unfortunately, all the handhelds are like extra expensive. But like, if they had brought the Steam Deck back and said, you know, we're discounting it instead of jacking it $300 more, they could have announced it here in this handheld showcase, and it would have been like perfect, practically. But it is what it is. Well, these are the I guess the appetizers to the buffet basically next week, because we're gonna have so many different shows next week. It should slow down the week after, but that July 6th, or not July, June 6th day, I believe it is actually 6 shows. So we'll figure out how to get through it. We'll talk about it. I just want to mention one thing though. It crossed my mind, and I think this is probably hilarious, and then we'll get out of here. Have you noticed everybody, and I mean everybody, has had these price hikes, and all these systems have gone up like $100, $200 something dollars. There's one system out there that comes to mind that has not seen a price hike, and it has the most exclusives ever. The most exclusives, period. All the other systems combined. You already know what system I'm about to say, and nobody, exactly y'all ain't gonna get it. Y'all still don't get it. Shame on y'all.
You don't have
for not getting the Playdate. The Playdate has not gone up in price. It's the cheapest system out there at $200. It's got the most exclusives, and their games ain't nowhere near 80. I'm just saying. We can get out of here. Maybe they might show their face and do their own little showcase. I'm gonna look out for them, because I do have them subscribed, and their showcases usually be like 15 minutes. So maybe we can find that one. But yes, man, the Playdate is the system to get. Highly recommended, man. There are no price hikes.
Then get it.
I'm just saying.
You haven't gotten it.
It's no price hikes. I'm just saying. All right. It's not about me. It's about the people. I'm just trying to tell the people. All right. We can get out of here. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I will catch you next week on the Super Showcase Show. All right. Peace.